Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the book reading series, and this is the 81st book in our book reading series. Well, everybody is self-centered, what matters is the size of your radius. If you have huge, humongous, infinite radius, which we can encompass, comprise, include, not just the people, not just the people in your family and friend circle. It's basically even the animate and inanimate things and the happenings. When it comes to even the past, present, and the near future things, whatever you can imagine, everything if you include in your circle, I mean in the radius, then I think you can also say the same thing that Lord Krishna said, whatever happens for the best. Sometimes it happens for you, sometimes it happens for me, sometimes it happens for somebody else. And when you realize that you are everybody, that you are everything rather, but before that you will need to realize that you are no one, you are nobody. Only then you will be everybody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, keeping in mind, enlarging our radius of our circle of influence, not the circle of concern. Yeah. If I may pick today one of my very favorite books. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this book, is very close to my heart, and I had picked up when I was working with one of India's, biggest corporate conglomerates in the world, the corporate houses. That's the Reliance Industries Limited in Reliance Petroleum Business, and it was from 2004 to 2008. By then, when I was a side channel sales management, I was in training and development towards understanding business and business processes. Because people think sometimes business is like about materialism, and spirituality has nothing to do with that. In fact, people think if you are thinking so much about money or the business, you are business minded, you are money minded, you are not good when it comes to your relationship. और पैसों के लिए आप किसी के साथ कुछ भी कर सकते हो, किसी को भी छोड़ सकते हो. That's basically being immature business mind, because in every concept, in a construct, or could be in every person, every profession, there could be two extreme possibilities, the so-called good and the so-called bad. When it comes to the positive side of the business, I look at it this way, that materialism or the manifestation is well understood only when you are able to understand or grasp or decode that thing, which is called spiritual dimension. And once you understand that, then there is no division, So there is no conflict, and you see that it is ebb and flow. It's the one thing, in fact, So that's what the true spiritualist is. He is like a scientist, a scientist and spiritualist both, an artist and an analyst both. In fact, if you ask me, there is no division. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Azim Jamal's The Corporate Sufi. Azim Jamal's Corporate Sufi. There is one more book, recently, I think a couple of months ago, I had a book that's about, corporate monk, being in any professional front, and then you are leading the professional front with abundance of peace and prosperity both. Because many times, confusion happens, with business, there are clients, there are customers, at times you have to, hide few things, gone all those days, You need to be very transparent, you need to be very truthful. The moment when you are true to yourself and you are transparent, you actually gain the trust, the trust basically. And everything is about trust. The moment you gain the trust of your clients, your customers, maybe your internal customers, say your subordinates or maybe your bosses and the people you work with, yeah. So it's all about trust. Everything bottles down to trust. Even when it comes to the corporate Sufi, the corporate is definitely a metaphor to business world or day-to-day life, And the Sufi is a metaphor, if you can think in those ways, a kind of spiritual domain of the dimension. Yeah. What I liked about this book. But before getting into the book, let's understand who is Azim Jamal. Azim Jamal, I think most of you know, he is very, very active on YouTube also. And Azim Jamal is a professional speaker and a visionary with his feet completely on ground, with wisdom and insight. Azim has 4 decades traveled worldwide, speaking to packed audiences about balanced living, leadership, spirituality, and making a difference. This was in the year 2006. They were talking about 2 decades. It could be now 3-4 decades, isn't it? Yeah. at least 3 decades now. So he is really amazing, you know? And he has also authored the 1 minute Sufi, the 1 minute Sufi. And he has an understanding that materialism and spirituality go hand in hand. It's basically prosperity and peace go hand in hand. I have echoed in my book, which was published in 2012, you know, the tonic for great life, and you will see tonic for great life on the very cover page. You will see a fish taking a leap from a jar to sea. It's basically I'm trying to indicate that a leap, a quantum leap, a leap of me to we. That's basically an individual to we all the beings. Me to we, one to oneness. Yeah, from fight to light. That's, you know, from mortality to immortality, whatever you call it. That's the leap. So now, what I like about this book is, you know, the illustrations. Illustrations, yes, amazing. Now you take a look, you know, a modern man, well-suited man, you will see he is meditating. That's what the true, you know, professional today now, if you ask me. Yeah, so we need not to look upon some so-called person, you know, living in mountains or maybe, you know, some ashrams, you know, and try to gain the spiritual wisdom from them. It's everything. Spirituality is one thing which we all have inside us, because we all are the spiritual beings with human experience. Yeah. So corporate Sufi, meditating and connecting to an inner world. Likewise, you will see, you know, few more illustrations. I'll just show you. You know, fish, and he says, Jamal says, very powerful one-liner. He says, the fish has lived in the ocean all its life and is asking, where is the water? Yeah, that's really amazing. Chapters, I'm going to get into the content of the chapters. You know, one is very favorite. It's about purpose, because I also keep talking about purpose, passion, and pesa. Working with purpose is like spending a night with your lover. Yeah, psychological time. You know, so it's like time management. You know, I talk about time management from different aspects. Try to look at the time. You know, not just from management point of side, like what is urgent and important, but, you know, what psychology says. When you spend time with your loved one, time flies, you know. And when you are spending with time with a person whom you don't like, or maybe painful situation, then, you know, maybe 1 minute is like an hour, you know. So we'll not get into that, you know, what's spiritual distanceable time. So let's understand what are the contents of this book. Yeah, no wonder the book has got, you know, accolades, praise all over the world from very big people. Contents, you know, first is finding our purpose. Why the hell we are here on planet Earth? Until the time we are alive, I think our mission is not yet completed. Yes, so find out. If you ask me, ladies and gentlemen, the easiest way to find your purpose is when you take a look, just look around with complete honesty, yeah, and without any biases or prejudices, and you will see out of so many things happening, you know, wrong things happening. When you see something going very wrong, you think this is a very wrong thing, and you should do something to fix it. For example, when I see someone struggling to grow in life, to evolve in life, and feeling little now low in confidence, and maybe coming from economically challenging background, or because of, you know, XYZ inferiority complex, when someone suffers, I think, you know, my purpose is that how to enable, enthuse, empower a person to overcome that inferiority complex, and make her realize that you are infinite, you are, you know, eternal, because we all are the same. So in that ambit, could be soft skills, could be spiritual talks, could be book reading series, could be fitness, mental fitness, physical fitness. I take up all those things, you know. I very consciously chose to be in the education sector. So likewise, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you need to recognize your purpose of life, you know. It could be many wrong things. Sometimes, you know, people think that they need to serve nation by joining army, air force, navy, whatever, you know, being a warrior, being a soldier. And there you can add value. There you think you are born for. So go for it. Some people think of being an engineer, being a designer, being an advertiser, being a businessman, being a teacher, or being, you know, an architect. It could be anything. Being a doctor, you know, whatever you be in life. Some people, you know, think of being a good, you know, a tourist guide also. You know, being a tourist guide. It can be anything. कहते हैं ना कोई भी धंधा छोटा नहीं होता और धंधे से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं होता. But here you need to keep in mind that dhanda, that business, that effort should be constructive, and it should not be harmful for anyone, for any being rather, not just human being, for any being. Yeah. So I think that's my understanding. That should be the yardstick. That this then whatever you do, it's good. Yeah. So the contents. My journey to the corporate Sufi. Azim Jamal, he is mentioning about his journey. Introduction 13. Finding our purpose. That is the first one. Second is embracing a principle-centered approach. Principle-centered approach. Yeah. Third is making a difference. And here I would like to highlight my own saying that when there is no difference between what you preach and what you practice, only then you can make a difference in someone's life. It's basically walk the talk. And then embracing a lifelong learning. Then fifth is having faith in the unknown. Now here in the faith in the unknown, what I would like to indicate is it's very simple. If it can click to you right here, right now. Actually, it clicked to me long ago, a few years ago, that when you apply your intelligence, being so-called scientific mind. See, when you look at this environment, right, where we have come from. And look at this environment, every form you see, every living being, animate, inanimate, you see, it is born out of this environment, right? So this environment has to be living. Maybe we don't understand because our definition of being alive is different. Our definition of even communication is different, right? Not necessarily the communication is verbal and non-verbal. It could be beyond that. Could be energy exchange. Could be intuitive. It does happen. Could be if you have an experience of decoding the dreams in astral. Yeah, could be astral. Yeah, be simple, right here, right now. Yeah, if everything is born out of something, that particular thing has to be alive, living. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's like an ocean. Yeah, and so many living forms in the ocean, oceanic life. Could be rivers. Could be the flora and fauna over there. And if that particular form thinks that there is nothing called water, and it's being just being ignorant. The moment you take a leap and they'll see, oh my God, what is this? This is an ocean. This is water. Azim Jamal is also indicated as an analogy here. Just now I said about that. Yeah. So this is what it is. And then you have a choice. And then you have a choice. In fact, there is no choice. You arrive at a choiceless state because you have seen that who you are. You are not just the form, but you are the formless. You are the form in the formless, right? And then you start living the properties of the formless, of the energy, of the presence, of the now. The now. Like people say, be in the now, try to live in the now. Look at this. You are the very now, right? And the transformation happens, the mutation happens in the brain, yeah, and things look very different. Yeah, taming our ego. The whole idea and the whole journey is basically to get rid of this ego, to blast this ego. Yeah. So this is something Azim Jamal is talking about. It's a very fantastic book, and I said the good thing about this book is a lot of good images, good pictorial representation, good one-liners, two-liners. Good, really good. So good vibes. That's what the purpose is. Whatever the way you can, yeah. Enable people to be more self-motivated. Thank you very much. Let's go evolve and go explore with Azim Jamal in the corporate Sufi.